Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat MAULANA QAMAR Sahib Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Sunday morning at about 9:30 a.m. at Baitul Azkar in Wasiabad, Allahabad, UP, India. Sunday, the 8th of Jumadul Akhirah, 1444, corresponding with the 1st of January 2023. Hazrat Wala starts off this Majlis by reading the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ad-deenu an-nasiha. Thereafter, Hazrat Wala speaks about the kitab that he has in front of him, which he says is an amazing kitab, and in which the ta'lim, the malfuzat, the teachings of Hazrat Tanvi is mentioned. A person was coming out of my kutub khana, and he's even said to me, he comes, he takes kitabs and he reads and he goes back and he returns them. So one day he was going and he said, I seen that kitab, we discussed, and when I seen the kitab, I realized that this is a kitab that's supposed to be read. I am reading from this particular kitab today under the topic Tariq Ta'lim wa Tarbiyat, the method, the way of giving ta'lim and tarbiyat. Thereafter, we go on and we read that insan is a collection of three things, namely ruh, jism and aqal, soul, body and brain. Therefore, from humanity, no person can have proper sahih tarbiyat until or unless he keeps these three ajza or 3 points that we mentioned above, which is a collection of insan himself. So he has to keep these three in mind. He has to look after these three, and at any point in time and at any stage or station where he reaches, he can never ever be negligent regarding these three: ruh, jism and aqal. Hazrat Wala then says that Hazrat Shah Abdul Aziz says that from the first means, asbab of hidayat, is that of sihat, meaning your jism, looking after your body and seeing to the needs of your body. Hazrat Tanvi used to get oil put into his head, massaged into his head, and then he would say that this here is the machine of our entire body. This is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has given it. And now this was the amount of ihtimam and care that was taken for their bodies and their health. So we learn from all of this here that the rectification of the body also, badan ki durustagi bhi, it is very, very important. Otherwise, if we don't even have that there, and a person is weak and sick, and his body is this and that and the other, how would he ever make ruku, and how would he ever make sajda? Hazrat Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi also came, he learned, he achieved, and he acknowledged the efforts of Hazrat Tanvi rahimahullah. Rather, he had written much about it. Hazrat Wala is saying that what was said even, that Jami'ul Mujaddidin, that laqab was given there, whereas others even commented and said, don't say that, don't say that. Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam has mentioned Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam emphasized on gradually teaching, but gradually bringing it into play, that how do we introduce the wujud and the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His qualities, rectifying of aqaid, etc., we need to make an effort and put emphasis on this here. So, dekho, samjho, socho, suno, yaad karo, or amal karo. That listen, understand, think about it, hear about it, remember it, and then make amal on it. In fact, this kitab that I have put together, my kitab, Tarbiyatul Awlad, this kitab here, Maulana bin Nori, his son-in-law made the tarjuma of this kitab, Dr. Habibullah or Habibur Rahman is it, and I made the talkhis of that. Maulana Nizamuddin, who's our ustad and was the sati of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, was the sati of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, he also acknowledged this particular kitab. So in this kitab, one of the first and foremost things that are mentioned is to instill the presence of the being, the wujud, that Allah subhanahu, there is such a being as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, to introduce Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to put deeply into the heart of a child the wujud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes you would find women folk, they attain such expertise and maharat in this, that and the other. But when it comes to these things of teaching children, inculcating in their hearts, in their lives, this, that and the other, you find nothing doing, nothing at all they found. Idhar dekha, udhar dekha, ise dekha, use dekha. You look this way and you look that way, you looked at this one, you looked at that one. Na dekha yaar ko aghyar mein dekha, to kya dekha? You haven't seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amongst all this what you have seen. Then what did you actually see? You must the bus. You came into this world, you looked here, you went here, you done this, you done that. And in all of that you did not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. There was a person, Hashimi, in Delhi. He also made the remark like this here. What a pity. Alas, this kitab came so late. If it had come earlier, I would have made tarbiyat of my children. I would have made tarbiyat of my children according to this particular kitab. I made a lot of mehnat on this particular kitab and put it together. Rather, you would see me sitting in the car, in the train, wherever I was found, I was busy with this kitab, rectifying, going over, adding, subtracting, whatever it was, and putting these kitabs together. This kitab together, the Tarbiyat Awlad. Nevertheless, we continue.
FM mode. Bluetooth mode.
So I was saying, just sorry for that interruption there. Okay, let's continue. So anyway, this kitab that I have in front of me, it is the gist, a khulasa of so many kitabs put together. So anyway, as I was saying, a person was going with this kitab from my kutub khana, and then I went through this kitab. I was alerted about the important discussions that are in it, and I'm reading it in front of you today. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to set aside some time for us to give us some talks and tarbiyat, etc. Nevertheless, let's move on, let's carry on. Another tariqa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding prophetic type of teaching, passing on ilm and tarbiyat, upbringing, is that to speak and present the fazail and the mahasin of things in a very beautiful manner, to describe it and create that picture in that type of a manner, and together with that the razail, the unwanted and the abhorrent characteristics which are worthy to be disliked, that you should bring such a type of a picture that is deserving to be attested, deserving to be discarded and thrown away. That's how it should be taught by the teacher and the ustad, in such a manner that then naturally a person will be brought towards that which is good, and he will have such a dislike towards that which is wrong and evil. Now different types of tariqas. Another tariqa is this here, that you say how good the end result of good things are to the listener, to the student, to your audience there, and how bad will the end result of those bad things will be eventually. What will the end of it be? You open up all of this type of discussion and you present it to those who are listening. And those who are the bearers of the deen, if they keep in their minds these type of methodologies in which they can pass on the deen, then such type of an end result that will be created in the people, or that will be achieved, is that one that is actually sorted for. The Sufiya and the Ahlullah was such that when someone came to them to take bay'at, they would not even find out if from this person was he Muslim or not. Today, in this time and in this age, there is a lot of shore and a noise about mawa'iz, waz and taqreer. There are heaps and heaps of kitab. However, there is no husn amal, that no amal is carried out in the most beautiful manner, and whatever we're doing and saying and ordering people to do or preventing them from, we don't have husn kirdar. We're not doing it in a beautiful manner, that the person who is looking at it or who is actually witnessing this here, there will be a magnetic effect and it will pull the person closer to you, and rather it will change his color. Okay, let's continue. Another thing was that Hazrat Maulana Tanvi, he had different types of amal, and he set out things in different ways for different people. He actually distributed it into 4 categories of people. There was a very big halqa and group of the murideen who came into this particular category, that in actual fact they were not bad to Hazrat Maulana Tanvi. However, they had confidence in him, they had love for him, and they kept ta'alluq with him. And their niyat was actually to rectify their niyat, to make tarbiyat and to take benefit from him. He had a different type of hidayat for them. what their routine, what was set out for them, what was written down for them was different. And how should they spend their minutes and their time, and how should they spend their life, and what is their day and what is their night. Ji. Thereafter, Hazarwala goes on to the next malfuz, reading there, speaking about sometimes when a person is hard and a person is harsh. Due to that, people turn away from Islam, people run away, people become awe-stricken, people are just put off and turned away. Okay, let's continue, and then we're going to understand all of this here correctly. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to set out a certain time to talk to us. Hazarwala thereafter also quotes a waqia of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting in the masjid. The Fajr Salat was over, people left, and some were sitting in the masjid engaged in ibadat, dhikr, tilawat, whatever it was. Thereafter a person had his tools, he passes by the masjid and he heads off for the fields, for the orchards. And then someone comments that look at this person, he's chasing after dunya. He's after dunya and we are sitting here in the ibadat of Allah. Immediately Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam rectified that by saying that we are engaged in nafal. He is better than us, he is engaged in faraz. Allahu Akbar. We are engaged in nafal, the fajr is over. He is gone to go and seek a living, earn a living, put bread on the table for his wife and for his family, and that is faraz. There was a person who started coming close to us. He was from the family or extended families. And then one day he was on his way, he had some medicine, etc., and he was going. His dada was in a very, very serious way, and he was taking medicine there, he was off that way. And somebody told him that, why are you taking medicine? Meaning stopping him from that. The dada was in a difficult time. His dada was in a difficult position, very, very ill, etc. He's taking medicine. But that person was now prevented by others who seen him doing that. That what are you doing? Why will you take medicine? How does that and the other? Due to which, what can I even say about that? That person became bad-deen. He went eventually so far away from the deen because of something just like that. Allama Kashaf has written and spoken about all of this in so much of detail. How should we do things? When should we say what? In what way should we do it? In what way should we present it? Aina nubashiru, wa mata nubashiru, wa kaifa nubashiru, wa biman nubashiru. How should we deal? When is the right time? How will we do it? And with who will we say it? How can we pass it on? Allahu Akbar. There is a tariq and there is a way in doing everything. So learn narmi, learn shafqat, and learn compassion. In Nisabul Ihtisab, Hazarwala is even Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib has mentioned from there that this person was there outside and he had whatever he had on covering himself, and in the open he was making his ghusl, and somebody said, but how can you wrap yourself in that? Saying that while he was making the ghusl there and then the person took that out and threw it. Now this is it. We don't know when to say, how to say, who to say. We're doing that, and the effects of it are then so terrible that come out from there. So, what will we say? That this is the tariq of Hazrat Tanwi? No, in actual fact, this is the tariq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, if a person has an issue and he doesn't want the tariq of Hazrat Tanwi, however, if you look at it and it is coinciding completely with the tariq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's telling us exactly what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was saying. So at that time there, then we say this and that and the other, then where will the iman be left? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us about the goal and the objective, and then he showed us the path how to reach that goal and objective. La ilaha illallah, that is our goal, that's our objective, that's where we are reaching. Tawheed, there is none worthy of worship but Allah. And you know what's the path? You know how do you reach there? It is none other than following Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So La ilaha illallah is the maqsood, it's your goal. And Muhammadur Rasulullah is your tariq and your path that you are going to adopt in order to reach that particular goal. Rafta, rafta, slowly, slowly you would go and you would reach your destination. We went in Kanpur and Maulana Sayyid Ahmad Khan Sahab was there. We reached there. It was the Jor of the old workers, the Tablighi Jamaat Jor. And we reached there. It was a nice Majlis there. And Hazrat Maulana Sayyid Ahmad Sahab was saying that is the person, he was addressing these people, the old workers there. And he's saying, teaching them tariqah, style, methodology, that you're doing da'wat, you're doing tabligh, but listen, we need to do it in the proper way, in the right way, in the most appealing way, in the way which will sink, in the way that will be most magnetic, in the way in which our objective will be achieved. So he says and gives an example, Hazrat Maulana Sayyid Ahmad Khan Sahab, that there was a person there who was making monkeys dance, doing this, banging his drum, playing that flute or whatever he was doing with his hands and his sticks and this and that. And then the monkeys would do their dance there and people would clap and then they would throw money. This is exactly what was happening. So the person came to him and said, how can you do this? What are you doing? This income is haram, this, that and the other. And he told this person, just go from here, get from here. What do you expect and what do you want me to do? I'm earning my living. Nevertheless, after some while, another person went to him and then said to him, listen, he put some whole lot of money in his hand, in his pocket, and he said, listen, take this, keep it, this is for you. And thereafter he went on to say to him, listen, this is not a suitable way. Why don't you adopt something else that will take you out of this type of doubt and a type of impermissibility, etc., and it will be more purer for you. And in the way that the second person informed him and explained to him, it made so much of sense. He said, Jazakallah. He was so appreciative. It sank into his heart and his mind that there and there, immediately he abandoned all of that and he set out to look for something else which was more beloved in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thereafter, Hazrat Wala goes on to give an example which Hazrat Sayyid Ahmad Sahab Khan Sahab gave in that Jalsa or the Jor or Ijtima for the old workers in Kanpur. He said, listen, look, the older the ocean becomes, the more treasures you would find in its stomach. The older those mountains become, the more treasures and gold would you find in its mines, in its stomach, within it. Therefore, you have become old doing this work for a long period of time. Therefore, just like how that ocean and those mountains and those mines have become so much more beneficial, you should also become more beneficial for people because you have become old. So now the benefit that comes out from you must be much more than anything else, instead of becoming a calamity and a wabal to others. This is what he was explaining to them. Allahu Akbar. Not that we are old workers now and we are this and we are that. We must have get this type of food for us. We need to be treated in this way and they must bring this for us and that for us. Nevertheless, I spent some considerable amount of time with Hazrat Sayyid Ahmad Khan Sahab. In fact, we met in Medina as well there at the Markaz, and he gave me there, we had this wooden goblets, cups in Medina Munawwara, and he gave me some milk to drink, and then I drank, and then he gave me again, and I said, Hazrat, I drank, and he said, no, this milk is different. In the one there was honey mixed, in the one there was this here, in the one there was that there, and he made so much of muhabbat. Today, we go and we make mulaqat also. But we don't know the right path, therefore we are deprived of taking benefit. Even though we may not be munsalik and connected to that particular person, but we go there, we make mulaqat, we sit, but we come out deprived completely and totally because we don't know the Sahih Tariq. We don't know, our mind is not orientated well, we don't know how to do it. So we come out empty-handed completely. There was a Sahabi reading Salat and he did not read his Salat correctly, due to which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Salli fa innaka lam tusalli. Read, meaning repeat your Salat because you have not performed your Salat. And then he read again, and then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him that again. Then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam actually taught him exactly how to read. Now what was this? It was nothing else other than Sarapa Rahmat, an embodiment of mercy and kindness. An embodiment of mercy and kindness of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He never ever scolded and reprimanded and hurt the feelings of someone. The person urinates there, it was something painful, it was something wrong. But Nabi Sallallahu, he leaves from that majlis, he goes to his people, and what impression he goes with? He goes on saying to his people, Wallahi ma qaharani. By Allah, he did not insult me, he did not scold me. Another person came and started urinating in the masjid. People ran, Sahaba ran to go and tell him, rebuke him, shout him. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to them, leave him, let him complete, let him finish up. And the ulama have written so many different reasons for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually doing this here, because a person busy urinating and then abruptly being disturbed there, that can have a complete negative effect on his organs inside there, his bladder, his this, his that, the other. In fact, there is even one waqia. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab was gone out. Our Bhai Sahab was also not there. And this ustad hit the child or reprimanded him or stopped him from going to the toilet, whatever it was, due to which his urine then became blocked and he could not urinate. Nevertheless, this was what had happened, and I understood this year and what to say and what to do at that time. I went to some people and we managed to get 50 rupees together in that time and day, and I went there and I gave it to the father and the family people of that child and that student. And they went on to say, but Maulana, you didn't do anything wrong. It was that other person, that Bengali Maulana or whatever it was. And nevertheless, I gave them that and consoled them, and I told them, listen, make ilaj and do whatever you have to do. We need to see to the health of this child. Nevertheless, when Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab then comes back after his safar and enters the khanqa, this was related to him, but he became so delighted. It was this, or it was something else other than this year, that he actually then made me the head teacher of the madrasa, Sadar Mudarris. And then he went on to say, "Kam wo zaman samajh gaye." He understood at that time what was the right thing, and he understood from the talimat, meaning which we have given him, that how were students supposed to be treated. Okay, now fair enough. What was done, the damage was done, but okay, after that, what do you do now? Go and correct it, see what you can do. So, deen ko sikao, teach deen, however, qaida se sikao. Teach deen in a most beautiful way, in a most systematic way, in a most beautiful manner, with kindness and compassion. Aisa na ho ke deen se duri ho jaye. You should not teach the deen in such a way that you're teaching, you're doing this, you're doing that, due to which, rather than people even coming closer to the deen, people go away further. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam always made arrangements for ease and comfort for people. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was performing salat on one occasion when a child started crying in the salat, due to which Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam cut the salat short, made it concise out of the consideration for that particular child. So at the time of narmi ke waqt narmi or sakhti ke waqt sakhti karna, ayn hikmat hai. At the time where you need to show compassion, you show compassion, and at the time where you need to be stern and firm, you do that, then that is the actual hikmat, and that is wisdom in itself. However, at all times, to be hard with people and this and that and the other, that will be a means of taking people far away from good deeds and from hidayat. And this is what it is all about, to create ease for the people in the deen. However, today the situation is completely quite different. The person who is quoting these malfuzat of Hazrat Thanvi goes on to say कि मौलाना rahimahullah का कितना हकीमाना इरशाद. We going through over these irshadat and these sayings of Hazrat Thanvi, and they are so full of wisdom. Okay, let's continue. Thereafter, Hazrat Wala then makes dua, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ اللهم أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين اللهم أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين اللهم أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.